I think the Climate Content Pledge means reflecting in the breadth of our coverage on air, in our output on air, the sheer urgency of the climate emergency, but also crucially giving our viewers content that empowers them and makes them feel there's something that can be done about it and tells them what they can do about it.
How do we editorialise climate change, sustainability, the environment into our programming in a way that inspires, educates, and encourages viewers?
When you think that 65% of the UK get their information about climate change from the television, I think that means it's the responsibility not just of factual, but of all genres to really tackle the issue and to make sure that they include it in their programming.
Using comedy, using soaps as a way of getting people to engage with the issue, to understand the urgency of it, without hammering them over their heads with explicit climate programming. That's the really, I think, interesting tool that we have at our disposal, and I found that incredibly exciting.
The Climate Content Pledge for Sky means a lot about doing what we're already doing, but doing it really well and sharing it. So we have the Sustainable Production Guidelines, which we instigated about 18 months ago. We share those with the industry. We've white labelled them and put them on Creative England's website so everyone can use them.
You can feel the industry coming together to achieve the same goals, and that's great. And I think at ITV particularly, we've got to look at ways that we can communicate to our audiences without alienating them, without being preachy, without being didactic, to bring these issues in front of them and suggest solutions to them.
Can all be achieved. It's just how you do it, within what context you do it, and how do you make sure that people are sitting at home thinking, I really enjoyed that programme and I want more of it, rather than, God, I got told off tonight, I'm not going to go there again. That's not the way to inform, educate or inspire, I don't think.
It became a mission of mine to make sure that we talked about it across all of our output. Obviously, that started with shows like Blue Planet and Climate Change, The Facts. I thought it was incredibly important that everybody understands the jeopardy we're in and how important it is that we reduce emissions and that we tackle the issue now.
We want to make it sort of part of everyday programming for us, whether that be in our kids programming, where we make specific shows about COP, or with characters like Obki who look at environmentalism, sport, and making sure that we try to engage sports audiences. They're an audience that are really hard to reach. So we had the first ever net zero game of an elite sport.
Grand Designs for years has been, and Kevin McLeod's been a real leader on this, has been making green home engineering, green home furnishing, green home building into a sexy thing that people aspire to.
We should have been on this years ago. It's the same as diversity. We should have been on this years ago. And just like diversity, we've all come to the party far too late, and now we're all having to make, much bigger changes very quickly in order to attempt to try and catch up to where we should be.
And the broadcasters can play a significant role here, because we're as a sort of repository of all this information from different productions, and we should be, and I hope we are, sharing it with everybody at the point of commissioning programmes, saying, you can do this, you can do that, you don't have to do it in the old tried and tested way.
I don't think there is anybody who can ignore the issues around tackling climate change.